Hey, you! Yeah, you over there. Standing in the corner, alone. Trying to keep it cool. I know all about it, honey.
Welcome, everybody, to this sugar-free tarot reading in which we're going to be looking at not the fluffy point of view, but the realistic and holistic point of view. So we'll be looking at the good, we'll look at the bad, and we'll look at everything in between, and all of the different aspects of the connection that you are wanting to learn more about. The topic of this pick a card video is, what is the reason for your connection with this person? What has brought the two of you together? What is it, that the two of you are meant to achieve, or what's meant to come of this? What are the lessons? We'll leave it a little bit open-ended to whatever your spirit guides want you to know about this connection, but something to give you greater clarity about why this person has come into your life. All right. And I do have, for those of you who are needing a breath of fresh air, I have burning in the background a breath of fresh air spell going, little fire spell action, little charcoal tab action. So if you want to see me prepare and do some little witchy housekeeping, there's a timestamp for that in the video as well. Otherwise, of course, I think, go ahead and watch the pick a card, which is probably mostly what you're here for. But I do have that spell action going in the back. If you need a breath of fresh air in your life and or in this connection, just wherever you need, like a little bit of fresh air, a little bit of something new blowing in, you can draw upon this spell so that the magic is available to you if you wish to draw upon it. I guess is what I'm trying to say, and it will be continuing to burn throughout the video until it has burned out and given all of us its magical powers should we choose to tap into them. All right, so we have three options here. Let me straighten up the camera a little bit. So option number 1 is the headmistress. Option number 2 is the career girl. And option number 3 is the party girl. So these are from the Bad Girl Oracle. So these are sort of feminine archetypes. But we've got some other cards underneath. So we'll be getting a nuanced look at this. So go ahead and use your intuition however suits you best. Tap into the option or options that are reaching out to you intuitively and use those timestamps below. I'll see you at your reading. I feel called, before I get started recording this pick a card reading, I just felt called to do a little bit of magic. I hadn't burned an incense tab for a while, so I hadn't really burned. I've burned incense, the kind that you can just light, but not the kind that requires the charcoal tabs, and I just felt like doing that. This is a breath of fresh air / breath of fresh happiness spell. So I'm putting some lapis lazuli stones on the bottom, which are associated with happiness. And also, like, that blue color of lapis lazuli brings that sort of fresh air, kind of energy to it. In a more symbolic way. And so we're going to find some things to burn here. Once our tab has gotten prepared there. Okay. white moth here. I have a whole like jar of insects. That's how much of I'm a freaky witch. But I do have a tigress moth as well in my living room. I'm going to use that as well. I feel like that tigress moth has been waiting for the perfect moment. So we're going to add her in. Alright, so I have retrieved the tiger's moth. See, it has that sort of like orangey and gold colors in it in its design. Very pretty, and also have a firefly. So we're going to continue to let the charcoal tab warm up there. We'll burn some other things too. I'm going to burn probably some resin incense, but I do want to do some housekeeping here because I have a couple of spell powders that I made that are really great spell powders. And I just want to store them. One of them is just clumped onto this plate with some other things that were used during the magic making. This pine cone has a lot of great energy in it. At some point this guy is going to just be burned, but I'll have to do that outside. And my gemstones here wanted to kind of charge with this spell powder. I made this specifically for Ultimate Release, my Ultimate Release group spell service, which I really feel is still working. You know, when it's a deep release, it's like, I'm not going to hit you all at once, but for me, I do feel it is still working. But I want to save this powder. This is a great powder, and now it's also infused with all of the gemstones, so they supported each other here. So I'm going to put it in this glass jar. Alright, so now we have this one jarred up. It doesn't look like a lot, but that can actually be used for quite a few spells. In fact, I think I'm going to burn this on this spell that I'm doing today. A little bit of that. And I'm going to make a new label to put on the top of this and put my other spell powder in it. This has been such a great spell powder, but I made so much of it and it has so many goodies in it. Actually, I'll burn some of this too. So this, maybe this is bringing me some of the joy, this spell of just enjoying what I have. But yeah, let me bottle this guy up here. Alright, so now I have my two spell powders that I've already created and I've been using bottled up here, which means my mortar and pestle is now free, which has not been free for a long time, thanks to this, which I'm calling my Angelic Rose spell powder, because I made so much of that one. It's a great powder. It has lots of rose petals. It has homegrown mint leaves. It has foraged what is it called? I don't know. It has a few different foraged things. Goldenrod for one. It even has a little bit. Well, no, that's this one. This one has a little bit of dried honey. Dried, sort of crystallized honey. A very tiny bit, but it is in there. So anyway, great ingredients for these. I'm going to use a little bit of both of them on my spell here and see what else we're called to do. I mean, this is kind of witchcraft for fun. So let's see what else we find to put into our spell here. right, spell's going to keep continuing to work itself over here with its final burn there. My tarot cloth, tarot cloth has gotten ashen. Every so now and then it gets that way, and I feel I have to change it. So tedious. All right, so let's get into the pick a card portion here. Okay, group 1. So I haven't even looked at all the cards yet, the ones that are not turned over yet. I haven't looked at, but there's already a lot going on here. And the first thing I want to say is that this little one kept falling over. I feel that there are some of you who have wrongly chosen this pile. So don't try to stretch it. Don't try to force it and make it fit, because this is a very specific and a very heavy energy that we've got coming through here. So what I've got here with the head mistress and the heretic, it's interesting because the head mistress, it's their job to like enforce the rules and punish anyone who rebels. But the heretic is someone who is rebelling in some way. In a lot of ways, usually with the heretic, it's what they're saying, the message they're trying to get out. But it could just be that you serve as a model to other people, or you're serving to influence or inform other people of things that the powers that be don't like, or vice versa. I feel like there's something about communication when it comes to this connection where the two of you are dealing with these issues. Maybe one of you is, acting like a headmistress and trying to keep the other one in control and, don't say this, don't say that, don't do this. Or both of you together, have these qualities, or some combination. I don't know. But these themes are coming up here in this connection. Who gets to decide what it is acceptable to say or not to say? Because we also have, even in the astrology cards, more of this heavy energy when it comes to communication. We have Saturn, the heaviest, most pragmatic, but also most authoritarian, disciplinarian type of energy here in the sign of Gemini, which is what you're saying, what you're believing, the information that you're accessing, or the information that you're getting out there. So this is a connection where speech is taken very seriously, and the ways that we interact with and tell other people about things is taken very seriously. So there's some sort of inhibition around speech that is being rebelled against. We have them in the 5th house, so this could be someone trying to rebel by using what is it called? Like parodies and things like that, or humor. There are ways to talk about certain issues that are still acceptable, because you can use humor or theater or literature. You can use certain ways of getting around talking about things that it's not easy to openly talk about. So yeah, maybe the two of you both are doing that in some sort of way. You both are getting some sort of message out using a gift for self-expression. Could be art, could be writing, Let's see what else. We have the Priestess, and then we have Chemistry reversed. I feel like with a lot of you, the pull between the two of you is much more about ideas and belief systems than it is really about passionate chemistry. I mean, I think that the two of you do find each other to be attractive, but I think both of you are kind of focused on larger goals of, getting some truth out, or it could be keeping some truth from getting out, depending, but it's something along those lines. Whatever that is, that's more what draws the two of you together. than passion or chemistry. I don't think that it's lacking, though. I think there is a chemistry between the two of you. It just really isn't the focus of the connection. It's not the real reason that brought the two of you together. Though, we have solar eclipse here, so I do feel that there was an important reason. The two of you, I think, help each other to do some sort of, getting a message out here with Mercury. Like there's something that's being communicated either from the two of you or between the two of you. There's communication happening that is beneficial. And I think it benefits more than just the two of you. I think it serves a greater purpose. At the very least, the two of you needed to have certain conversations or certain communications because it has, you've influenced each other in ways that will be more wide-reaching. The conversations that you've had, will end up causing like a domino effect, and other things will happen because of it, because of the way that you've influenced each other. Also, the beliefs that you have had about each other. There's something about your all's beliefs. You each believe certain things to be true about the other. I'm not sure if either of you are really seeing each other correctly. But I think each person helps, like you helped them to see a part of themselves that they needed to see. And they help you to see a part of yourself that you needed to see. So you've definitely helped each other become more self-aware. But I don't think either of you necessarily sees each other super clearly. But at the same time, you hold up a mirror that's very helpful. On your side, I felt like you abandoned me, and it made me realize that I hadn't really been there for you. I get it now. I'm sorry. So I feel on your end, there's sort of like taking accountability, or at least wanting to step out of a blame game and saying, like, for what it's worth, we both could have done things better. That's coming through as your energy. On theirs, I can see you've experienced a lot of pain in life. I wish life had not been so harsh to you. So, yeah, this person feels all this heaviness and this burden that you seem to be under quite often. And, they just wish you goodwill. I think you both have benevolent feelings for each other at this point. So that's what I'm getting for group 1. I know that was a quick reading, but it seemed like to dive pretty deep. All right, so let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye. All right, group 2, these are the cards we're going to start off with. I do have some other cards here as well that we haven't looked at yet. So you chose the Career Girl. We also have the Ingenue, and we have some fairy cards, the Brat, Tattoo Fairy, and Water Element. I feel like what I get between you and this other person is that you're very different type of people. One of you is kind of more of like a goody two-shoes, or a goody he-shoes. I don't know. Goody two-shoes could be either gender. I don't know. But, it's like a very goody-goody, like I try to play by the rules. I'm, deferential to all of my bosses. I get my deadlines done on time. I contribute at home as well as at work. I'm that person that everybody can rely on. And then the other person is coming through much more like, who cares about everybody else? I want to put myself first. Like, why shouldn't I be putting myself first? So, and I think this person does this, and I think generally gets respect for it. I think they both get respect. But they're, you know, just getting that respect in different ways, through being a nice person, and through being kind of like putting self first and being unapologetic. But I think both of you, whichever one you happen to be, both of you have a sort of inner sense of rebellion against that. Like, you know, the brat here doesn't want to be totally typecast as the brat. The goody two-shoes doesn't want to be totally typecast as the goody two-shoes. So I think it's sort of like the two of you have something that the other wants just a little bit. You know, the ingenue doesn't totally want to be this goody two-shoes career girl, but the career girl doesn't want to totally be, you know, the reckless, selfish brat either. But they both want a little bit of what the other one has. So that seems to be a part of what brings the two of you together. And we have the South Node in Pisces. Yeah, so it's like a little bit of living vicariously through each other. You do help each other in a way because of that. Like, you help each other access this part of themselves that sometimes they have to. You know, because the brat still has to, you know, pay the bills. You can only be so bratty until someone is like, okay, now we're going to take away your car and turn off your electricity. You know what I mean? Like, you have to play by the rules to a certain extent and play nice. So the brat learns how to do this through the goody two-shoes. And the goody two-shoes, you know, learns how to be more fair to themselves and not to be such an over-giver. And also had to, like, you know, be aware of codependence type of issues, whether they're codependent or if someone's codependent on them. Just trying to be aware of that and nip it in the bud before it gets to be toxic. We have Old Soul and Don Juan. On an individual level, the two of you came in with the primary objective of having very different lives. You know, the goody two-shoes actually came into this lifetime wanting to live a life of excitement and intrigue. But instead, right now, they're playing it goody two-shoes. And the brat came into this lifetime wanting to be like prim and proper and just, you know, very mature. And somehow or other, they ended up living out the opposite, regardless of what their soul had originally intended, which means that both of you have very strong free will. You've utilized your free will, which not a lot of people do. A lot of people just kind of drift through life and say, okay, whatever's meant to be will happen. But they don't put an effort into putting their will into making a certain outcome. So the two of you have a very strong will. You just use it to go against your initial choice for yourself. You're like, even at the soul level, I'm capable of changing my mind. So you give yourself that sense of trust. I trust my soul to follow new desires when new desires arise or change. I listen to my gut instinct. You both are people who very much listen to your gut instinct and follow it. And so you are actually both extremely mature. It's just a maturity expressed in, like I said, very different ways. We have two messages here. We have the same values. That is important to me. So someone here is recognizing, despite our differences, we still have a lot of the same values. I think it's even rather than values, maybe just the same approach to life, or it's coming from the same urge to express free will. I'm really angry that another person keeps trying to woo you away from me. Okay, so there could be a dynamic like that as well. That hasn't come up in the rest of the reading, but it could be just an added dynamic here. So That's what I'm getting. Yeah, I hope that helps. Let me see if there are any like final messages to really like make it make sense. So we have a soulmate connection. I mean, it feels like that because you both are such strong catalysts and mirrors for each other. Unrequited love reversed, right? So the two of you have been able to express your love to each other. You both are aware of it. You're both aware of the other person's romantic love. Give your relationship a chance. So it feels like it's just that the two of you are still in a place of figuring it out. Maybe part of that is having to do with some worry about a third party. But there are a lot of couples who've had to navigate those types of questions before, and they were able to navigate beyond them. So yeah, I think, the guidance seems to be to continue to give this a chance, and not to give up on it. So that's what I'm getting. Hopefully that's helpful. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Okay, group 3, welcome to your reading. Although I do want to say, and I was getting this feeling at the beginning of group 1's reading as well, that a lot of people have chosen the wrong one. And I think actually it could be that you are meant to be watching group number 1. But, follow your instinct first here and see if this makes sense. If not, I would say that group number 1, because I think a lot of people, especially in this group, because we have Pluto and Cancer in the 12th house. Cancer in the 12th house is a place where a person could be a little bit disconnected from their own feelings. And because of that, you could not be quite understanding even your own energy right now. So if that sounds like you, then this could be your reading, but it also could indicate that there are parts of you in pile 1 as well to help you further understand. But anyway, I think that we have the dynamic between you and this person seems to be overall very harmonious. I think that the both of you have positive intentions towards each other. Neither person seeks to harm the other. I do feel with Pluto and Cancer, there is a deep understanding of the other that goes beyond disagreements. So it's like we could disagree strongly about something, but because I see the true nature of your soul, I'm not going to hold it against you that you perceive something differently, because I know that you have a good soul. Pluto, that's how Pluto kind of evaluates people, in this kind of very soulful depth sort of a way. So I think there's a trust. I think both of you really trust each other. But it feels like there's a lot hidden. It's like, I don't understand a lot of what is really going on in your life, and could be vice versa as well. There's at least one person here who's really confused about what is actually going on in the other person's life, because it seems like there might be a difference between like the appearances that are put out there and a question of, is that the same as the reality behind the scenes? Or is the behind the scenes very different from that? Anyway, someone here seems to be asking that question. I feel like it might be you guys wanting to know that about them. But it could be both ways. Okay, Earth element. I think you both are, thinking about each other a lot. I think you see the other one as a source of comfort. Both of you do that. Or I think one person is more the comforter and the other person might be a little bit more the comfortee. But I think both of you still like that, you know, being able to connect in that way of comfort. It does bring comfort to both of you. You know, I feel that there is a very strong love here between the two of you. I think that you both are aware of that. Yeah, I mean, I think that both of you in your own way have expressed to each other how you feel. One person may have done it directly in words. The other person, because this artist wanted to come out in reverse, I think they may have expressed it in a little bit more of a roundabout way, but I think it's still obvious. I think both people can definitely tell that feelings have been shown. Even if the feelings were shown differently than how the other one does it. We were destined to be together. I believe in us. I love how you're willing to take risks in life. You're bold. Wow, so you both really have this sort of passionate belief in each other and in the connection. So that's something that you both share. Is this just optimism? A sense of optimism of it's great that we were brought together. There's a feeling that this is someone that I could count on in the worst of times. And maybe that's how it connects to group one, because group one was all a little bit about the worst of times. But yeah, it's like, it's nice to know I could trust someone this much. There's such a deep level of trust here. I could trust you, and that makes me feel stable, and it makes me feel that I could hold my foundations no matter what, you know, no matter what might come along to try to provoke me or bother me or unravel me. Your presence in my life seems to give me a sort of strength to hold on through any point of crisis. That's kind of deep. But yeah, that's what I'm getting for you guys. I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.